Everyone loves a waterfall, right? No. Sarah, my significant other, says they're overrated. She said, what's the big deal? It's just water falling. I was trying to explain to the viewers how you are kind of unimpressed by waterfalls. Can you just explain it a little bit? Because I have a hard time grasping that.
I don't know, I just think that waterfalls are kind of lame. It's just water falling off a shelf. I don't really you can see a waterfall in the bath, even.
It's not easy to impress Sarah. We've been together for almost 15 years now, and I think I've impressed her one time when I took a poop that looked like Kristen Bell.
Holy shirt.
Sarah did not have high expectations for the Devil's Cauldron waterfall, and I knew as we got on the bus to go there that if it failed to impress her, our relationship might never be the same again.
People like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this.
The Devil's Cauldron, or Pailón del Diablo, is about 17 kilometers down the road from Baños in a small town called Rio Verde. You can taxi it there for $10 or even have them wait for an hour for you and drive you back for $20 total. We opted for the bus, which waits at the corner of Luis A. Martinez and Eloy Alfaro streets, just south of the Central Market. The last stop on the bus will take you to one of the 2 entrances to the waterfall. You have to hike down to it. I think it took us about 20 minutes to get to the actual entrance headquarters, but the hike isn't that difficult and it has some really beautiful views. It just costs $2 to get in. You walk along a path, you start to hear the falls, and you start to feel it, and then you see it.
Isn't that crazy? The sound of it?
The feeling of it.
My brothers, one day we gon' make it. We just gotta grind for that paycheck. Mama told me one day I'll be famous. Remember when she used to say she hate this? That ended with laugh when I say shit. Now I'm inside all them people's playlists. So one day I'll be stomping on those stages. But right now we just dancing in the basement.
So far so good, but the next step of the journey might be unpleasant enough to turn Sarah off from it. It was time to take her behind the waterfall, which I knew meant getting a bit wet, but I didn't know it meant crawling under rocks. Sarah has 2 fears, spiders and bees. Making her crawl through this little crevice put her in a situation that left her vulnerable to spider attacks.
This is the hardest part, is right here. After that, it's fine.
Nevertheless, she followed me into the cave.
You want me to take the bag? You want me to take the bag? Yeah, this part you kind of have to touch the rock, but it's not slimy, it's just wet.
If you want to get behind the falls, I recommend packing light and wearing something waterproof. It's a really tight space, but we managed to get to the other side without seeing any spiders. I breathed a sigh of relief, but then I turned a corner and my heart sank. A bee's nest with a swarm of bees blocking the way. Sarah's second biggest fear. It was like an awful joke, but credit to Sarah for not turning around. She powered through it.
Yeah, let's go this way. Go here.
fucking...
Insane. Nice job, getting past the killer bees.
Now, if you look at the way this thing is set up, it really looks like the path takes you in behind the waterfall and then to another trail that connects to a bridge. This is not the case. It is a dead end. You get pretty wet. You have to make it past an army of bees, not once, but twice.
Fork.
It's a dead end.
That being said, totally worth it. I just hope Sarah agrees. After that little adventure, we decided to head to the other entrance to get a different view of the falls. But first we stopped for a coffee. There's a microbrewery in Quito that I've been to, and they actually have a little hut at the beginning of the hike that sells craft beer and good coffee, nice views. The second entrance to the falls is about a 15-minute walk through the town. It also costs $2. You follow the river for a short ways as it starts to make its way down the rocks. Scared?
I don't get scared of heights. That does make me
And then the waterfall hits you with a rush of adrenaline. The waterfall itself is actually called the Cascada de Rio Verde, named after the town. At 80 meters, it's one of the highest in Ecuador. It's hard to tell from the video, but this suspension bridge is at about a 35-degree angle downhill. It swings, it sways, it gets your heart pumping.
Gotta stop and enjoy the view, don't forget.
And it also offers probably the best view of the falls and the Devil's Cauldron, which is the area that the falls drains into. It got its name because it's apparently shaped like a devil's head. Maybe this? How many angles can you grind before Ryan snaps and kills you? Keep following the path and you can get right down next to the falling waters. By the end of the trail, I knew I had accomplished my goal. A ton of water, a ton of energy produced, a ton of beauty surrounding it. This really is one of the best tourist attractions in Ecuador. Okay, so you're admitting that the Pailón del Diablo.
It's the most impressive waterfall I've ever seen in my life.
Would you say that it saved our relationship?
Yeah. In a way.
Holy forking shirt.
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm gonna go fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700 in the bank. Not a superhero, I don't save. Look at my face. Look at my grades. Don't match up, no love. Look at date. I just fade. When I hit the jack, you can keep the pie. Every night I gamble, I stop. Yeah. When I check the cost, I was like,
Oh, that's expensive.
ay, rolling flex in my ear.